The final from Neville Arena tonight. Auburn gets the win. We are here inside of LAUB Town. Everybody get on in here. Let's get a quick reaction going tonight for this game. Auburn versus Vanderbilt, 81-54. Share the content out there with somebody out there on social media if you don't mind. Like this video right now. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You got Ike Jones in here inside of LAUB Town talking about Auburn versus Vanderbilt. Again, Auburn gets the dub 81-54 tonight. Pretty thorough drubbing of the Vanderbilt Commodores this time at home. Leading scorer for Auburn tonight is Jalen Williams with 21. I actually thought it was going to be Denver before I looked at this stat line, but Jay Will with another 20 piece on Vandy. All right, Jay Will. But Denver had a great shooting night, 19 points for him tonight. But I mean, this is what you expected to happen versus Vanderbilt tonight. No surprises. Some sloppy play there in the middle of games, but you're not going to have a flawless game. Don't want to overreact to that stuff. But some of the things that you see that you don't like are things that will come back to bite you against better teams. So we have to talk about it a little bit. But again, Auburn gets the victory tonight. You have 1, 2, 3 guys in double figures. Already talked about Jalen Williams, Denver Jones, Janai Broome with 16 and 11. Another double-double for Janai Broome tonight. And then Chad Baker-Mazara with 11 points on the night. So 4 guys scoring in double figures. This is about what you really want to have from your team. And we just need to see this kind of performance on the road against a quality basketball team. The shooting tonight wasn't spectacular by any means. 44.4% is not what you really want to have on the night. You want to be closer to, 50%. It's not awful, but it's not great. 3-pointers, though, 38% from 3, and you're going to win a lot of basketball games as an Auburn team if you're going to be shooting close to 40% from 3. A lot of the same kind of looks that we've been getting the last couple of games. You're just naturally knocking them down. So you love to see that. Free throw shooting was left a little bit to be desired. Only 15 of 21 tonight, missed 6 free throws for 71.4%. So that wasn't the best. And then just a lot of really bad fouls and bad turnovers in this game. Assist to turnover ratio, we talked about that a little bit in the pregame. 21-13, the ratio is right where you want it to be. But it's just some of the turnovers that they had were just silly. So got to clean some stuff up. Definitely not the most clean games in the world. But you played good defensively on both sides. Vanderbilt really couldn't ever get into a rhythm offensively. And Auburn was being super physical in this game and really taking away a lot of the stuff that Vanderbilt likes to do. When you talk about comparatives, and one of the things that you had to see a better effort on tonight, and that was rebounding. Still gave up too many offensive rebounds. You surrendered 11 offensive boards tonight, but you did grab 12. That's around what it looked like in the first game between these two teams. Where you had very close in the offensive rebounding, but total rebounds, Auburn out rebounds by 11, 45-34. So overall, you did good on the boards, but you had the size advantage, so you're supposed to win that. It's not domination the way that it needs to be, but I did like the effort that I saw out of some people in the boards, particularly Janai Broome looked like he had a different kind of motor when it came to trying to go out there and get rebounds. So definitely love to see that effort from him. But overall, a good game. Again, you didn't shoot particularly great from the field, but defensively, Vanderbilt only shot 27%, which is putrid. Like, that is, hold your nose. What are we doing out here? Are we revoking scholarships bad from the field? 15 of 56 was Vandy from the floor tonight, and only 24 from 3, hitting 4 of 17. They only shot 71% from the free throw line themselves, 20 of 28, but 28 free throw attempts that you're giving up in the game is way too many. Now, Vanderbilt does a good job of getting to the free throw line typically on an average night, so that's not necessarily unusual for them. They draw a lot of fouls, but Auburn's got to do a better job of defending without fouling in those scenarios. So definitely some stuff to clean up there. Bench points once again dominated by Auburn, 23-6 for Vandy. They just don't really have a lot of quality scores coming off of their bench. I expected that they'd have a little bit more in this game, and it never really got on track for them during this one. Points in the paint, Auburn wins that 32-22 in the paint. But let's get in here and just kind of talk about some of the things, analyzing what happened with this game, and some of the things that, let's start with Denver Jones, right? Wasn't the leading scorer, but 19 points from him and the kind of shooting night that you need from him. He got off to a hot start, hitting his first three-pointers in the game, ended up making 4 of 8 in the game. A couple of them was kind of like heat check type of things, but Denver Jones with 19 points is the kind of Denver Jones you need to see more often for this Auburn team. He was seeking his shot early. He was taking good shots on balance and knocking them down. If you can get that kind of performance from Denver as a tertiary scorer, because really your top 2 scorers are typically going to be Johni Broome, Jalen Williams. But if you can get that third level scorer in Denver Jones in there, then you've got a good basketball team on your hands from the offensive end. But 6 of 11 for shooting tonight, 4 of 8 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Literally doesn't have any other stats on the stat sheet, though. But still, Denver Jones buying in the way that you want to on the defensive end, playing very tenacious defense. It doesn't show in the steals or rebounds or block shots or anything like that. But if you take a look at his quality minutes, I mean, I'm not a big plus-minus guy, as I've said before, but Denver Jones is a plus 32 on the night. When he was out there on the floor, he was positively impacting this game for Auburn. You love the energy that Denver brought, and you love the fact that he's able to get in there and get involved on the offensive end. Then we talk about the other guy who apparently just likes when Vanderbilt is playing against us, and that's Jalen Williams. Missed 2 shots tonight, so, I mean, he's got to work on that. Last time he didn't miss any, so I'm on Jay Will, do a little bit better for us. Missed 2 shots tonight, 7 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. I said in the last post game that we talked about that you need Jay Will to knock down a couple of them. If he's shooting anywhere in the range of 60% from the field, then this Auburn basketball, because he gets a lot of high quality shots, which is why I say that. Not because 60% from the field is typical, but because the shots that Jay Will takes are typically shots that are close to the rim when he's inside. They're very makeable shots for him. You expect him to shoot a high percentage of those. A lot of the threes that he takes, even if they're a hand-up contested, they're late contests, so he's getting good looks. And, he's taller, so he can see over the top when he's shooting those threes. So quality looks from Jay Will is something that you expect to see, so you want him to shoot a high percentage because he's just going to get those kind of shots the way that this offense flows and the way that people pay attention to guys like Johni Broome when he's on the floor with him. So he's going to get a bunch of easy looks at the basket, and if he's shooting a high percentage of those, Auburn's offense is working the way that it's supposed to. He's a key cog for this team to work the way that it needs to offensively. Outside of that, again, we talked about the double-double poured in from Johni Broome, 7 of 11. Johni could have named his number tonight. They just don't really have an answer on the inside for him at Vanderbilt. That's the same way it's been really in that Bama game. Mississippi State could do a better job against him, but he could have scored more points in that Mississippi State game as well. But Vanderbilt really didn't have a chance against him on the inside. Only 16 points, but 7 of 11 shooting. Knocked down both of the three-point shots that he took tonight. Didn't go to the free throw line at all, which is crazy. Like, I just don't understand how Johni Broome's not shooting 5 to 10 free throws per game as often as he's getting knocked around. But he poured in again another 11 boards on the night, and he had 5 block shots on the night and an additional steal. Johni Broome did a little bit of everything. Johni played probably the most effective. I hadn't looked at his plus minus before I was about to say that. I was about to say he played probably the most effective minutes of anybody tonight, and his plus minus bears that out. 24 minutes, his plus minus is plus 40 tonight. He was doing everything from an assignment standpoint. He really understood what they needed to do. When we get into some of the film on this game, we're going to look at how he defended in some of the action. And you're going to see him really, like, this is a guy who really came in and studied what the game plan was. He looked at this film and he really understood how they wanted to defend Vanderbilt tonight. And you can see that and how he was defending some of the action that they were trying to put him in. He did a great job tonight. This is one of the best complete games that you'll find from a player in college basketball, the way that he was playing on both sides of the floor. Sloppy at sometimes with his ball handling on the interior. Again, not a perfect game, but by all means, Johni Broome did what he was supposed to do tonight. Then you get into the Chad Baker-Mazara stat line, 4 of 8, 1 of 3 from 3, perfect from the free throw line, 2 of 2 there. Got another 5 boards for you, 4 assists for Chad Baker-Mazara tonight with no turnovers. Good game from Chad Baker. He needed to be able to get a bounce back game. You want Chad Baker to be right around that, 10, 11, 12 points for you offensively to get into where you want to be around the 80s. And so that's what he was able to provide for you tonight. And then the only other significant, I won't even call it significant score, Leor Berman was the next highest scorer. And he had 5 points tonight on 1 of 2 shooting. So congrats to Leor. Didn't take any threes tonight. Knocked down the free throws that he had an opportunity to go out there and get. But Leor played some decent minutes for him tonight. So I liked what I saw from Leor. But that's enough of me rambling about some stuff. We'll get into some more specific things that I didn't like, but I do want to get into you all's comments because y'all are the reason we get out here and do these things. So we'll start it off with Tony Williams, who says light work absolutely did their thing tonight. Valencia Jackson, real sloppy play. I don't disagree with you. There were points in time where it looked absolutely abysmal out there on the floor, just kind of a comedy of errors happening. We'll get into this, man, but Trey Donaldson with 3 backcourt violation penalties. I mean, not penalties, but 3 backcourt violation turnovers in this game. Just kind of sloppy play right there at points from our we talk about the point guard position tonight. Didn't look great for the vast majority of this game. In clusters, it was just looking bad. So definitely want to dig into that just a little bit. Richard Wentland says, I need Aiden to be a better scorer or try for more assists if he's not hitting that night. We'll definitely get into the point guard play tonight. Aiden did not have a great shooting night again. He's due for one. He's taken, I think, shots that he can make, but he's got to find something on the offensive end to be able to contribute a little bit better for this team. Max Effort echoes those sentiments about Aiden, saying he's going to have to play better for us. I'm assuming you mean to go deep. Yeah, I mean, your guard play is really how you survive in the tournament. You survive in advance because you have good quality guards that are either scoring the basketball at a significant rate or they are going to be just playmakers and getting you in the right sort of situation. So both of them have some work to do. Trey had been playing fairly well, but last couple of games he's had some moments where you're just like, hey, let's get back into the solid basketball play you had earlier. Riley says still not gang rebounding. Definitely not gang rebounding. I will say that, we had some better effort from a couple of people on the boards. Actually, Leor Berman did a really good job when he was in the game at attacking the boards aggressively. Dylan Cardwell's always going to give you that, but I love the ramp up from Janai Broome tonight, and I liked what I saw from Chaney Johnson and Chris Moore on their effort on the board. So, but we need to get at least 4 or 5 guys really committed to rebounding the basketball. Still a lot of standing and watching when shots go up as opposed to going and aggressively either attacking, putting a body on somebody, or flying towards the basketball. Steve Bradley says Holloway is having a confidence issue. Broome should have gotten more shot opportunities the way we were playing him tonight. Don't disagree that I think that Janai Broome should have gotten more opportunities. It's just one of those situations where I don't think that they're trying to force feed Janai, but again, I think Broome could have named his number tonight. He could have gone out there and put up 30 against this team, and probably gone to the free throw line a bunch, or he would have had a mid-20s game with a bunch of assists. The way that they were trying to guard him, they just didn't have the size to be able to stick with him on the interior. As far as Aiden and confidence, he's shooting the ball confidently. If he was having confidence issues, I'd say he'd be more hesitant to pull the trigger. He's not doing that. I don't know what the issue is for Aiden Holloway right now. It's not as if I've seen a complete collegiate year from him to see a difference in how he's shooting when a confident Aiden looks like shooting the basketball, but he is having trouble finding the range. And that's something he's got to get figured out. Just go get some shots up, young man, and figure out how you're going to be a little bit more consistent with that. See what else we got in here. Appreciate you guys jumping in here with me tonight. Riley says that you all need to be patient and remember Aiden is a true freshman. Hey, listen, man, true freshman or not, he's getting minutes and he's playing. He does need to produce in the minutes that he's out there. I do agree that there has to be some patience with him, but I think that's more so with Coach Pearl being patient with his minutes and not necessarily fans wanting him to produce while he's out there on the floor. If you're going to play the minutes, you got to produce while you're out there. Like, Leor Berman is a graduate student, and when he's out there for the minutes that he's out there, and he's not looking good. You got to get, regardless of how many minutes he's played before in his lifetime, give him quality minutes while you're out there. If you're not going to get a lot, those few need to be quality. And I think Aiden needs to improve the quality of his minutes. We talk about plus minuses for guys out there. I mean, Aiden tonight, his plus minus, it doesn't look good. I hadn't found it yet. -6 on the night. That's just not good minutes, man. Those aren't quality minutes for him in those rotations. They talked about it tonight, dribbling the basketball a lot. Both of the point guards do it. We're not getting into our stuff quickly enough. So guys are wasting, 5-6 seconds at the top of the shot clock, just dribbling the basketball around and allowing defenses to set up. We need to get into that action a little bit more quickly. I'd like to see Coach Pearl have an early offense action call that's just kind of always in place. Excuse me, whether that is you get into like your secondary break, immediately go into the post secondary break, getting straight into some pick and roll action where people are rolling down to their spots. And if it doesn't work, dribble it back out and get into your second call quickly. I'd like to see that a little bit more often. The throw ahead stuff that we're doing to try to get into the secondary break, I don't think is very effective. And hasn't been, those passes have not been good from the point guards to advance the ball up there consistently enough. I think we need to figure out a different way to get into some secondary break action where you're getting early offense and making the other team have to scramble so they're not able to entrench their defense without it being frenetic, right? Like there needs to be a very concerted effort to say, this is what we're going to do when we're in our secondary break early in the clock. Let's try to get into this early offense scenario like this. If that doesn't work, let's back it out 15 seconds left and get into something, because the way that flex offense works, you can get into that stuff really quickly. So, 22 to 18 seconds, those first 4 seconds after you've advanced it past the half court, especially if you're getting that off of a rebound, or it's a turnover and you can get into some break action that's not off of a make, let's get into that action a little bit more quickly. So that's something I think that they need to try to do, especially when you're going up against teams where you have a size advantage and you can get Janai a touch early, or you can get Jalen a touch early. And again, if it's not there, let's back it out and get into something else. But anyway, that's a long rant about something y'all probably don't care about. Let's see. But let's go ahead and talk about point guards, though, since I did get into all of that. Trey Donaldson tonight, 2 points. Aiden Holloway tonight had 1 point. A combined 1 of 10 from the field for those two young men. Assists tonight, 5 and 4. So 9 assists and 4 turnovers, all of those coming from Trey Donaldson. Aiden had a good assist to turnover ratio, right? He had 2 assists. I don't know. I was looking at Chad's numbers. So Aiden had 2 assists. So that's a 7 to 5, and he had 1 turnover. So 7 to 5, not good for your point guard position. So let me retract what I was about to say. Oh, it wasn't too bad. No, I'm looking at the wrong line here. 7 assists and 5 turnovers from your point guard position ain't going to get it. That's not going to get it in any level of play at all. That's not good. So definitely got to get better than that from those two guys. 3 points, 7 assists, 5 turnovers from your point guards, not good at all. Now, you get 10 total rebounds from those guys, so that's pretty good from the guard position. But definitely have to get better than that from your point guards tonight. And if you want to, just guard play really absent of Denver Jones tonight was lacking. You only get 2 points from KD tonight on 0 of 2 shooting. He gets you an additional 2 turnovers. So 3 of your guards tonight are accountable for 4, 5, 6, 7 turnovers and 7 assists from those 3 young men, and only 5 points. 5 points, 7 turnovers, and 7 assists. That ain't going to get it. Not against a quality team. That's not going to get it at all, you big goose. Now, KD didn't take any threes tonight. Actually, the shot selection from KD didn't have any problem with it. I think he was playing well within the offense. And, I lumped him in just because we're talking about productivity from the guard position. But I actually don't think KD had a bad night overall. He didn't score a lot, but he wasn't forcing things. The 2 turnovers that he had, I don't think they were terrible turnovers. not that, and I can't recall them off the top of my head, thinking to myself, "Oh my God, what were you doing right there, KD?" type of things. So I think KD had a decent night overall. It's not going to reflect in what his plus minus is. He's a -1 on the night. I mean, and honestly, Trey is a plus 37 on the night, but I don't think he had a particularly good night. Aiden -6 on the night. We already talked about that. But the guard play needs some work tonight. Denver Jones pours in, the 19 that he had, but the rest of the guards left something to be desired when they were out there on the floor. Let's see here. Chris Culverhouse jumps in and said, "Did we win or not?" Damn. I'm pretty sure we won. Last I checked, we did. What is that about? You got in here late. I did all the praise first, so maybe you missed the portion. I've been talking for 20 minutes. I did all the praise at the beginning. Then we talked about things that needed to improve. So got to get in here a little earlier, Chris, so you can get the balance of it. Haley, War Damn Fam, great win, ready to go to bed. It is late night. We won't be on here very long tonight. All I do is complain. Again, that's not true. You got in here late, my guy. You missed all the good stuff at the beginning. That's where we started. So that's just not a true statement, man. Steve Bradley jumps in. Aiden looks like he's not having fun when the camera was on him when coming back to the bench, just down on himself type of looks. Why I said it's about the confidence. I mean, I think when you're not shooting the ball well, you probably aren't having the most fun out there, especially when you're a scoring guard. So, I wouldn't expect him to be over there looking happy when he's not shooting the ball the way that he knows that he can. So I don't know. I think he's just got to figure it out. Again, it's not about his ability. The young man has a pure shooting stroke. I talked about this early in the season. He's a guy that can absolutely shoot the basketball. When he finds it, it's going to be nightmarish for other teams. So definitely looking forward to seeing him find that, because once, like, look, Denver Jones early in the season was he was erratic, right? He would have a couple of games, he'd be on and then he'd be off, but Denver found it tonight, man. He came out there lighting it up early in this game. I want to see him do that multiple games in a row, but that's a guy that you wondered whether or not he was going to be able to get into the flow of the offense, and he found a game tonight. Hopefully that becomes a harbinger of what we're going to see in the future. Like, this is the direction that his offensive game is going to take for this team, where they can count on him coming off of that ball screen action, a lot of that curl action that he was getting the ball on, a couple of Iverson cuts they were doing with him. I liked what they did to find Denver Jones opportunities to go and score. This is something that I talk about often. I think that's missed in the nuance of the game of, like, Coach Bruce Pearl and whatever they do for the scout of saying, this is how we're going to get certain guys involved in the game. You saw it early in the season. They were saying, we're going to feed Jalen Williams early in the game. It was a concerted first couple of plays. We're running this to get Jay Will a shot, right? You saw it coming out of the half against Arkansas. And what was the second SEC game? Was it Vandy was the second game? I can't remember right now. I'm not looking at a schedule. Y'all don't make me have to use my brain this late at night. It actually doesn't work at any point in the day. So I can't blame it on it being late. But Janai doesn't score first half of the game, comes in second half, and the first couple of possessions, you see them immediately try to go to Janai Broome. So those are things. I think tonight they said, hey, we're going to get Denver going, right? And they knew what the action was going to be, where he was going to be able to get the shots, and he knocks him down early, gets a little bit of confidence, and you see the way he attacks becomes different, right? So does a really good job, Coach Pearl, of finding ways to say, we're going to get this guy going early tonight. Because I think you just kind of have Janai in your back pocket, knowing, okay, we're going to try to get Denver going. If it doesn't work, then we'll go to Janai, because we know we can go to him and go get a bucket anytime we want to. Of course, you can go to Jay Will. He lights up for Vandy. He's lit him up his whole career, and go get a bucket if you need to. But let's try to find a way to get one of those other guys going. So looking forward to seeing how that progresses for Denver Jones coming up here in the future. The only other person I really want to talk about tonight, before I get back into some of your comments, is going to be the play tonight from Chaney Johnson. I just love the energy that Chaney's come out with. Again, he's only 1 of 3 shooting, has 2 points, but the confidence that he started to exhibit on the offensive end, he still has a couple of times in the games where you're like, yo, what are you doing right there, guy? But his athleticism absolutely shows through. His effort and energy that he's given you on both ends of the floor is showing through constantly. I love the confidence that Chaney Johnson is starting to get in his offensive game. He looks more, when he handles the basketball, he looks more sure of himself in those one-on-one situations. Once he gets into the paint, his turnaround jump shot looks pretty. That's something that I saw on his tape when you went and watched him at UAH. Like, you just liked what he was able to do in that mid-range because he was playing the 4-5 position there. So he's accustomed to being in there in those kind of spots. So I liked what I saw from Chaney Johnson tonight. And I've liked what I've seen from him the last couple of games. So very much a guy that I think is on the escalation. He's trending upwards as far as his play is concerned for me, and what I'm seeing from him. Quality minutes from him tonight. And I'd be remiss, I didn't mention him. I said it was the last person I was going to talk about. Is Dylan Cardwell able to stay out of foul trouble for the most part tonight? That's crucial for him. He only played 14 minutes, but those were a good 14 minutes. I like what I saw from him tonight as far as his effort and energy. Again, it's not going to show on the stat sheet in any real way, but I like the minutes that you got from Dylan Cardwell. All right, let's get back over into you all's comments. Appreciate you all jumping in here with me. We'll spend another 4 minutes here, and then I know there's probably like 5 other people talking tonight about this game, so we'll let you guys jump in and out of that kind of action. And you've been listening to me talk all day. Let's see, what else do we have here? P-Pass thinks that Aiden goes off versus Ole Miss. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him go drop a 20-piece on Ole Miss, bro. Love to see it happen, because that Ole Miss team is going to be fired up in their building, and you're going to see them probably shoot the 3 ball better at home. So I'd love to see Aiden go in there and drop 20 on them. Riley Mobley says, isn't Coach Steve Pearl a shooting coach as well? Maybe the guards get a clinic at practice. I mean, listen, I don't know that it's really I think that it's just going to be about repetition and going shots, because like, they're getting the kind of looks that you want. They're not going in there. I mean, he wasn't really shooting off balance tonight. None of those things. Mechanically, when you talk about, shooting coaches, it's really about working with guys on their mechanics. I don't think mechanically that's the issue for Aiden. I just think he just needs to see a couple go in, which is why I've stressed so much that I think that it's good for him to be able to get to the paint and either make a layup or get to the free throw line, something to see the basketball go in the basket 1 or 2 times, and then step out and shoot those threes a little bit more once you've seen that happen. But you need to see it in the rhythm of the game. Just practicing isn't going to do it. He needs to get some shots knocked down early in some games to get that, just to see the rhythm of that feel right, coming off his fingertips, all of that sort of thing. Let's see here. What else do we have? Steve Bradley says, I would like to see all 3 be on hot next Wednesday night. That's when Bama is coming to town. Listen, I just want to see, we got to put a lot of points on that team. That Bama team is resilient. I don't know if you guys saw that Georgia game today, but Georgia absolutely fumbled that game. They had that game, and Bama just walked them down in the second half, man. The Bama team shoots the 3 ball really well. They're going to turn it into a frenetic, all over the place game. So you have to put Bama away. They're not just going to go away. So, yeah, Auburn's got some work they need to do offensively. Again, just from an effort standpoint on the glass, they're going to scrap and claw and do a bunch of stuff to turn the game into this frenetic pace. You got to be good against them to put them away. I'm looking forward to seeing that game next week. Jared Reynolds says, heard Auburn got whistled for a backcourt again. Hey, listen, might be. Maybe they're out there practicing right now. Let's see here. 251 Alaskan Albie says, Denver Jones looked good with the 3 ball tonight. Absolutely, man. Denver Jones was shooting lights out early in the game. So we need to see more of that. jumps back in and says, our defense is elite. We will be in every game we play this year because of it. Listen, it's going to be difficult to blow this Auburn team out because of how well this team is playing defensive basketball. I think sometimes when you are an elite defensive team, it makes it hard to watch you offensively sometimes struggle, and you forget that the other team isn't scoring either, right? When, Auburn's only scoring, whatever they scored in the last couple of games, the other team isn't coming out there lighting them up because Auburn's playing good defensively. So the defense of Auburn, to the point that you just made, is going to keep Auburn in most basketball games. You just have to find a way to continue to find good offense when you're playing defense so well. Blake Patterson says, we are straight. Some people on Saturday were overreacting, losing 2 road games. I was embarrassed to be an Auburn fan at some of the stuff that was said. Listen, man, fans overreact to stuff all the time. I mean, it's a basketball season. Folks asked me a month ago when we hadn't lost any SEC games, were we only going to lose 5 games this year? And I still think that Auburn will lose another game this year, might be lose another 2. And, they talked about it on the broadcast. Coach Pearl says, hey, listen, we can beat every team left on our schedule, and we can get beat by every team left on our schedule. And those are true words, absolutely, especially on those road games that you have. That Florida team on the road, not going to be easy to win. This Ole Miss game coming up, not going to be an easy road win to go out there and get. You got to go and travel to a couple of other spots. Tennessee, not going to be an easy road win to get. The South Carolina team, I don't care where you play them, they're not scared of anybody. That's going to be a tough game that Auburn's got to play coming up. So they're going to be scrappy and they're going to play well. Missouri, their record doesn't reflect it, but that's a good basketball team. Not great. Good basketball team. You have to go out there and actually put Missouri away. They're going to keep coming at you continuously. It's going to be in waves, and they're going to find ways to go get buckets, and they're going to keep themselves in games. You got to put Missouri away, or Missouri's going to hang around and hang around and hang around. You're going to look up and, 4 minutes left in the game, and you're in a dogfight. So, the rest of this season's not going to be easy, and there's plenty of opportunities for a team that has not had a quad 1 win to get a quad 1 win coming up here down the stretch. Auburn's got to go out here and put it on a couple of teams and make their case for the tournament to be a top 4 or 5 seed out there. Doing really well right now. Again, offensive and defensively, you're in the tops in the country. And this is another thing why, to your point, Blake, about people overreacting, you forget this is a top 20 offensive and defensive team in the country. It's not as if there are a lot of teams in the country that are better on both ends of the floor than Auburn is. Just not going to find very many of them. So, though it doesn't look perfect, and it's frustrating sometimes when you're getting these games where you're winnable games on the road and you're not finding ways to close out, you're still one of the best teams in America. And I don't know that that's debatable considering how well you play on both the offensive and defensive ends. But that doesn't mean you're perfect. That means that there are deficiencies that can definitely be exposed by the wrong matchups. But Auburn has a good basketball team and a lot of room to grow. But they have the ability to hit that ceiling as well. So that's the good thing about this team. You're not worried about whether or not they can turn on and click it to another level, because they absolutely have another level to get to. All right, that's enough of me talking tonight. I told you guys wasn't going to be on here very long. I'm sure there are plenty of other places to go talk Auburn basketball tonight. Before you get out of here, make sure you share the video with somebody out there. Please give us a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll have more content for you guys tomorrow in some form. Got some stuff dropping for y'all tomorrow, so stay tuned to all of that. But until the next time, and as always, War Eagle.